Sven, you're going to help me. It's basically be a summary of what we just did, and then anything we forgot, you sneak it in here. So we're going to jump into the Race Companion Fantasy Racing League podcast hosted by me. Sven Martin is here with me. We're going to go through the summary. Tani Seagrave was your winner over Valley Hole, Millie Jonset, Jess Blewett, and then unfortunately Gracie Hemstead with that stack within sight of the finish line. In the men,
Valley Hole.
Oh yes, we haven't spoken about Valley Hole, so we can do it here.
She was sick to the point that like a doctor was visiting her in the pits. Like I think she must have got the virus that everyone got on the first 2 rounds. Like some people got, where it's as bad as it gets as an athlete. Besides what's physically happened to your body, just zero energy and keeping stuff down, and so that's actually
that's a huge result.
She's still got the leaders jersey and she hasn't won a World Cup, so she's battling, and I'm sure she's sick of not running the World Cup, and unfortunately
she had no energy. You could see how flat she was in the finish line. I don't think that was from like the result that she wasn't staying in the hot seat.
What about Nina? I swear I thought she was going to save that crash.
That crash.
She's riding on
owned
pace,
that crash,
yeah, but she could have got up and like, what if 2 or 3 other girls crashed? She could have got more points.
Yeah, I would say next run she should have fought a bit harder to the bottom.
Slap on the wrist if I was a team manager.
And maybe not stop for the selfie on side track.
It was a good story. Do you know, like, it was a marshal that had been DMing her, and she knew that marshal was at marshal point 20 or whatever it was. And she was like, oh, I'm coming up on marshal point 20. I'm going to stop and surprise the marshal. So really cool story, but if I was a team manager, I'd be like, we'd take your points rather than
It's like what used to happen at Whistler, where you stop on the rock for a beer and take your shirt off, but there's no points.
Eddie should be
there was no points to worry about.
He was in the shark fin.
So I'm glad you brought up Valley, and if anyone saw on the broadcast that Tani didn't really want to hug her, it's not because they have beef. It's because Valley is very ill. Yeah. So Tani joked and kind of didn't go for a full hug, which the ladies always do, which is great for camaraderie. She kind of joked and went like, "We're going to do a little elbow hug."
So if you wouldn't know, it looked like. If you
wouldn't, I looked over and I was like, "Oh, that could look like a clickbait story," So there's the clickbait one.
She was buttoned up and in jackets.
No, you could see that. Yeah. And then
the men, on the other hand, they all over each other. They love each other.
Can't get wait, we're not on to the men.
Bro hugging in the men.
Gracie Hemstead was in 5th. And that's probably story of the race, which we'll get to later, crashing with inside the finish. Men, Loic Bruni, he did it. He took down his kryptonite Jackson Goldstone, who was in 2nd. Loris Vergier didn't have the pace in Q1 or Q2, but he stepped it up. He was in 3rd. Martin Mays, top 5. That was incredible to see. And Ocean Callan,
which helped team of the day.
Team of the day as well. All right,
long time
what was your big moment of the weekend? Crashes, weather shifts, mechanicals, controversies.
Me?
Yeah. What was a big moment for you?
Well, they could have raced the juniors yesterday, let's be honest.
So that's not a controversy.
Yeah. You know what? The decision to shorten the day before paid off perfectly. They literally were... So, and it's also, let's back it up a little bit. This is not a Warner Brothers or a UCI decision. The decision is outside of their hands. So if we're complaining about the juniors not racing...
We're not complaining. No.
The
word complaining.
No. Well, I am. They could have raced yesterday, but the day before, literally exactly like 30 minutes, they said electrical thunderstorms, which prohibits helicopter flying, medevac, and lifts running. They said that's going to come in at 3. It came in like 3:27, 3:29. There was lightning within seconds, hail. So that would have been the case, and they were spot on. They made all the right decisions early, combined practice. Race day was actually really good. They combined men and women's. They could do that a lot more, because before you have an hour each, you can just combine them 2 and give them an hour and a half. And that worked out good, which maybe they'll learn that as a possibility. But yesterday, we didn't have the weather that was predicted, but they have to make that call 12 hours before. So yeah, the juniors could have raced, and all of them, even Max, who was sitting in P1, he was like as pissed as Till or Asa. They all wanted to race, You would think Max would be like, oh yeah, I've got the win, I'm not done. So
no, everyone wants to win fair and square.
But it's Mother Nature, and it's these mountains, and it's not a Warner Brothers or a UCI decision. It was a governmental decision.
It's local organised decision. So
no, it's not. It's the government decision.
The government.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say on that, I think it paid off to give the teams more notice and stick to a strict schedule, which it did
versus
really well.
Us waiting around a couple of years ago.
So there's always going to be pros and cons to these decisions. Are we saying devil's advocate, but the government maybe wouldn't allow it? Could you have said,
hey,
we're going to squash the schedule, juniors, we are going to maybe race, but there is a point that if the weather comes, we're evacuating with a long window,
Yeah.
So maybe they only get 5 riders and the weather comes. But I think you risk having people. You have risk having the people on the mountain. And if you do half the race and then you cancel it,
exactly. And
for rules and stuff, that's fine.
And they were spot on.
What about the people on the mountain?
They were spot on with the forecast the day before. So you got, and the problem is not just let them race. They would have also had to have another hour practice session. So
I would say
that's 2 hours extra, which would have put us in rain, but not in electrical
dangerous.
storm.
Yeah. I would say 2 big moments for me. I think the battle between Loic and Bruni.
Loic and Jackson.
I mean, what did I say? Loic and Bruni.
Yeah.
Well, he has been battling himself.
Yeah,
having to.
But the fact that it was this whole Superman
thing,
and it was a Warner Brothers, and
troll.
They gave him the Superman T-shirt, and then Jackson, we did some shoots with Jackson where he was on the trampoline, and we did a kid shoot.
Oh, is that where it was?
And he's in blue. He's in Superman colors, dude.
And
Jackson,
you were doing the backflips
and he's
stuff.
looking like Superman.
How did you do those pics? Off a trampoline? We're not allowed to tell anyone.
Almost got. Jackson almost didn't race. We almost both got arrested. Not arrested, just we weren't ready. The shoot went well.
The shoot went well, but
I lost the lens.
If it involved a trampoline, Greg Menard famously rolled an ankle on a trampoline in Andorra before World Champs.
No.
Have you not heard the story?
No.
So now we can tell the story because he's retired.
Yeah.
So we were at Andorra. The last race of the World Cup Series, maybe, before Val de Sol World Champs. Okay. And Greg was on pace this year.
16 or something?
16 maybe.
Yeah.
We had a good day on XC Day because Greg Menard and Steve Peat are VIP because of their World Champion status. Snuck me into the VIP. We had a really nice day supporting cross-country.
And the next day is downhill?
No, the downhill's done.
Okay, sorry.
So one thing leads to another. We were hydrating, and I had nothing to do because my season was done. I got left off the world's team. So I wasn't going to slow Greg or PD down.
Yep.
Greg had a great time, and we went to the trampoline.
Yeah.
And we were doing backflips and funny stuff.
Probably the
Bison
same trampoline
was there,
Jackson was on,
at the top of the XC track.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were.
Greg does something stupid, rolls his ankle so bad it swells up, almost breaks the thing. Doesn't race Val de Sol very well. So it was a trampoline accident.
Really?
Yeah. And he could have had another World Champs title if he didn't do that.
So, after talking about spilling secrets, you're probably okay with me telling this one. There was like Atherton's have just like some new big sponsor, and I feel like it was an opening round or second round. And they put it down to a training accident. But you know what the training accident was? It was in the Atherton project. So you saw
the wheelbarrow one.
That was what did his shoulder, and it wasn't a training accident. So he dislocated or separated his shoulder, missed a race from a training accident. But the training accident was them towing the wheelbarrow and G getting flung out the wheelbarrow. So the more and more these stories will come out as these boys are, Nathan Rennie, you've got to kind of get on the podcast.
He's been on the podcast. Nathan back in the day.
No, but we need to get him.
We can get him again. We should get him in for one of these.
Download,
He's actually really good. But anyway, Rob Roskop was here. The whole team, they were prepping for this World Champs because he's really good at Val de Sol.
And World Champs, yeah.
Anyway.
No, but Greg won World Champs in Val de Sol that year.
No, but not that year when he had a bum ankle.
Okay, so it's the early one.
Or maybe it was
I think we're almost done.
How are we doing?
Running out of
Sam?
tape.
We're still good. Oh, we're almost wrapping up. And then another big moment was this Gracie Hemstreet's incredible run.
Yeah, that would have been
crashing within sight of the finish line. It's just like
And I think for me, my moment is not going to be a negative on the juniors racing. One for breakthrough P1.
That's a moment. That's a huge moment.
That's, to me, the moment of this race. His style, like he had a line like hop up high and triple out around the last woods that Loic. A lot of people switched to. There was some mad, frantic line switching from pretty much from Q2 to race morning prep, and then second race runs. People would change. Can you imagine changing your line, your last practice run before your race, but you feel like you have to because that's the margins? Like you've got a good line, you super fast through it, but there's one that's 0.1 faster. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. I mean, I've had to do it before. It's really tough to do if you haven't done that run. But I mean, the Loic one changing a line last week without ever riding was super uncharacteristic to him. So this is what the sport, mental strength. How'd the course ride versus expectations? I would say, me being on site, there's a lot more to this track than one line. There's a lot of stuff on the ground, rocks. There's a lot of nuances that you don't see on the broadcast. Yeah. So to see the guys riding at that pace, like that rock garden looks like there's 4 rocks that they're going to hit there.
Yeah.
It's littered with crap that you could ping off, puncture, all those things.
In the most awkward place. You could just get a little nose bonk rock that you can touch or not touch, or if you go too deep. So if you go faster, you're going to go deeper. So there is you think there's a speed limit in those rocks, but yeah.
So, I mean, it rode kind of as we expected, very tight. Clinical precision, which I said in the pre-race pod. Let's jump into your fancy winners and losers as we wrap up, and then Sven will definitely help me if we've missed anything. So, Andorra, Richie G won 1,307 points.
Who did he have?
This is going to be interesting. So I'm going to compare him to mine. He had Martin Mays, great pick, Jackson Goldson, Loic Bruni, Tani Seagrave, Thibaut Lely was obviously didn't score, and Gracie entered. Hey, Mr. Producer, I don't understand how he got all those riders with his team cap.
Yeah, how much budget do you have for that?
Well, you got 4 million, but like Jackson's $1 million, Loic's $1 million, Tani's like 900. I need to see how he got that. That is a sneaky good team. And in the overall baggy, you were still up there. Sven, how do you pronounce the second name? Slonq.
Jesus.
Slonq.
Slonq, yeah.
Oh, I like Slonq. Okay, I've butchered it literally 6 races in a row. Scott Kelly, you in third. Chris, I haven't seen your name. You jumping up there, 452. Sketch. You're in 5th. What's that? Orange Dog, good for you. You're in 6th. Guys, top performing team, Sven, no surprise there, FMD or Bayer, so that's great to see.
I wouldn't say it's no surprise based on the results, but that's a momentous thing for everything they've done and accomplished over the years.
Ollie Zwar has been doing great the last few rounds. So that's really nice that the team is it. Most picked rider, no surprise there, Jackson. Then, here are my picks. It's not bad, Sven. Tani Seagrave, Dylan Maples, I got unlucky, crashed out, broke his hand.
Yeah.
Jackson Goldsod, Gracie Hemstred, Henry Kiefer.
See, that goes in line with
pace, right?
Good. That goes exactly
in line. And look at that.
Wanfer.
Velez was on my team.
So basically Maples and Wanfer, you might have almost won.
I know. We're getting a bit better at this crystal ball thing. Guys, if you like this content at the Race Companion, head over to Moving the Needle, where you have a longer form Sven and Martin and Eddie Masters breaking down Andorra.